So representatives for Dillon Gabriel reached out to me to try to give me a cease and desist order. Willing and ready and rock and roll, ready to go to court. So I triple dare your representatives to take me to court. In fact, Dillon Gabriel, I want you, bitch boy, take me to court. Let's fast forward.
Sanders turns training camp into his own highlight reel, and Dillon Gabriel ends up filing legal paperwork instead of a game plan? Buckle up, because this isn't just football. This is courtroom drama meets gridiron greatness. Did Shedeur drop dimes so lethal they triggered a lawsuit? Or is Dillon just allergic to getting shown up? Either way, grab your popcorn because this is the wildest QB showdown you didn't know you needed until now.
I can't imagine there's many people that think Dillon Gabriel's a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. I don't care where they were drafted. If the Browns are the one team that thinks that, then I'm going to suspect it's not true. They don't know what they're doing.
They've been on every quarterback evaluation for 30 years.
Right.
I never root against anybody.
Yeah.
But I'd be surprised if Dillon Gabriel's ever a legitimate starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I'd be surprised. I just don't think.
Well, then it is a wasted pick because you took him in the top 100.
Yeah, but potentially may get away with it because of Shedeur.
If you're enjoying it, please subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you think. Dillon Gabriel showed up to training camp ready to compete. Helmet shined, cleat laced, confidence. Let's just say he thought he was about to give a masterclass. Then Shedeur Sanders walked in like a human cheat code. Cooler than a Gatorade commercial, smoother than Wi-Fi in a rich neighborhood, and within minutes, Dillon wasn't just outplayed, he was legally offended.
I mean, the Browns drafted 2 quarterbacks. They wanted us to pay attention. We got a reason to pay attention.
Yeah.
A lot of people believe that Shedeur Sanders could be that guy. He's a polarizing guy off the football field. He does all the right things as far as being in the community and being present, especially with the youth. And if it all comes together on a football field, then man, that would be one hell of a story to have him be the franchise quarterback of this team.
Because apparently, Shedeur didn't just throw footballs. He threw problems. Spirals so clean they probably violated airspace regulations. Routes so precise the DBs were asking for GPS directions. And Dillon. Well, Dillon was somewhere in the background trying to remember what page of the playbook he was on.
This is what's going to be tough on Dillon Gabriel. He's in a tough spot. The public social media favors Shedeur Sanders. He's going to have to fight the battle of public opinion where most people are going to be on Shedeur's side. Here's Shedeur and the cultural young icon he is. Here we are taking a picture as the rookies. The first pose they come up with is Shedeur's pose. Let me show you my rollie and put the wrist up. And how do you think Dillon Gabriel feels about that? He's like, wait, what are you guys doing? They're like, we're doing the Shedeur. So he's really got an uphill battle. So not only does Shedeur have the proverbial chip on his shoulder, and now Dillon Gabriel's got to deal with, wait, I was the guy that was drafted before Shedeur, and they're going to talk about Shedeur a whole lot more than me.
The rumor mill didn't just spin, it caught fire. Coaches whispered, teammates chuckled, and Dillon Gabriel allegedly did what any red-blooded quarterback would do after getting metaphorically pantsed on the practice field. He looked into legal options. That's right, forget the clipboard. Dillon called the lawyers.
Both the Browns' rookie quarterbacks are being positioned, in their opinion, to start games this upcoming season, but how each quarterback is on a completely different developmental path for the summer here. So they said Shedeur Sanders is the one being, quote, carefully nurtured in a controlled environment, and Dillon Gabriel is being, quote, thrown directly into the fire against the team's best defenders. So that's where we transition over to this article that says why Dillon Gabriel is getting first-team reps while Shedeur Sanders waits his turn. So they talk about Gabriel working with Flacco, Pickett, first teams, and Shedeur, like I said, often works with himself on a different field with the second and third string.
Now, to be fair, there's no lawsuit titled Embarrassed versus Sanders, but let's not pretend this wasn't football's version of an HR complaint. Shedeur showed up with the energy of a man who'd been waiting all off-season to remind everyone why his jerseys are flying off shelves like a supreme drop. This wasn't just practice, it was a full-blown highlight tape, and Dillon accidentally volunteered as tribute. And oh, the timing. Dillon Gabriel transferred in thinking he'd be the guy, the veteran, the mature presence, the dude with the experience. But Shedeur, he's not here for shared custody of the QB room. He's the reason they built the room in the first place. He's got the poise, the reads, the drip, And, oh yeah, the arm that turns third and long into a light jog down the sideline. Gabriel was supposed to compete, but Shedeur turned the field into a stage and dropped a one-man show titled "This Is My Offense Now." There were no auditions, just dominance. And Dillon was somewhere in Act 2 realizing he was the understudy in a play he thought he was headlining. The plays weren't just efficient, they were disrespectful. Shedeur wasn't throwing into windows. He was inventing new ones. Sidearms, deep bombs, quick slants, and the occasional no-look for pure flavor.
I don't hate you, my boy. You probably a good guy. But here's where we stop the ruckus. You're probably a great dude. You're doing your Hawaii dances, whatever it is you people do. Much love to the great Hawaiian people of Hawaii. But sometimes you guys cater to the opposing people who looks Mayo. You guys are in love with Mayo people.
Meanwhile, Dillon was throwing checkdowns like he was hoping for a sympathy hug. By the end of practice, even the equipment staff started watching Shedeur's throw like they were in the front row at Coachella. Now, here's where it gets spicy. Word leaked that Dillon's camp might have taken issue with how things unfolded. Not officially, of course, because who wants to admit they got shredded by a man who showed up with his own soundtrack? But unofficially. Suddenly, there were whispers about unfair treatment, playbook bias, maybe even hostile throwing environments. Next thing you know, there's a discussion happening, probably involving lawyers who hadn't watched a down of football since the Super Bowl halftime show. You know things are bad when the legal team needs game film. And what's even funnier, Shedeur wasn't even trying to humiliate anyone. He was just being Shedeur, cool under pressure, lethal with the football, and somehow always camera ready, even during wind sprints. He didn't point fingers. He didn't talk trash. He just threw touchdown after touchdown like it was a group project and he was the only one who did the homework. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel looked like he was stuck in a PowerPoint presentation that wouldn't load. Sure, the man's got talent.
It's a very interesting situation, and again, here we go. Browns fans, we find ourselves in a situation where a player or two on the team can just completely divide the fan base. And one thing that I am getting sick and tired of already, and I'm going to bitch about this and fight people on this tooth and nail forever, it seems like. Just because I post something positive about Dillon Gabriel does not mean I hate Shedeur Sanders. And just because I post something about Shedeur does not mean I hate Dillon Gabriel. I actually believe that it's okay to support both rookie quarterbacks.
Eddie, when the lights hit and the tempo picks up, it's clear who's running the show and who's calling tech support. The optics are devastating. Shedeur is out there making linebackers question their careers, while Dillon is side-eyeing the nearest clipboard like it personally betrayed him. Even the receivers started gravitating toward Shedeur like he had gravitational pull. One rep with him and they're suddenly sprinting routes like their draft stock depends on it. With Dillon, they were jogging like it was PE on a rainy Tuesday. And then came the whispers. Could Dillon transfer again? Could he really spend a whole season on the bench being reminded daily that he's not QB1? He's not QB-ish? He's QB? Why is he still here? But here's the kicker. It's not just about being outplayed. It's about how Shedeur outplayed him with style, with swagger, with that unbothered energy that screams, "I've been that guy and I'm only getting better." It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a hot day. It was a clinic. And Dillon, he had front row seats every single snap. By the time practice wrapped, the score wasn't on the scoreboard. It was on the faces of every player watching Shedeur cook. Even the defense started walking off looking spiritually defeated like they'd been baptized by fire. And poor Dillon was in the back mentally drafting a cease and desist for excessive excellence.
Dillon Gabriel, you are a crybaby. Go cry in the corner. You want to storm off of the field because Shedeur, Mr. Legendary, you hear me? He beat you out to get the first team reps. You hear me? Understand, he started from 4th team reps, the 3rd team reps, the 2nd team reps. Now he 1st team reps. Yeah, you was recruiting all your little linemen and making your own little alliance. You hear me? Ain't no telling what you was telling them folks that was agreeing with the alliance with you. You hear me? But this is why the Browns organization is dumpster.
And look, legal action. Maybe a stretch, maybe just locker room gossip. But in the age of viral everything, it didn't take long for the internet to grab it and run. Suddenly, Twitter was full of memes. TikTok had slow-mo edits of Shedur's throws, and someone on Reddit was already photoshopping courtroom sketches like this was a QB custody battle. You can have the short routes, Dillon, but the deep balls are sole legal possession. Shedeur Sanders. By day 3 of camp, Shedeur had gone from quarterback to cultural event. And Dillon, he was trending, but not for the right reasons. So, if Shedeur is already rewriting the playbook and possibly triggering litigation by existing too confidently, what happens when the real games begin? When the lights are brighter, the cameras are rolling, and the scoreboard isn't just metaphorical. Let's be honest, Dillon Gabriel's biggest competition isn't Shedeur's stats. It's Shedeur's momentum. You can't file a motion to dismiss someone who just turned training camp into a Netflix documentary. The man's not just QB1, he's the whole trailer. So unless Dillon's legal team can find a statute that limits humiliation by armed talent, it's going to be a long season of sideline clipboard management and polite applause from the shadows.
Lied to us and said Dillon Gabriel was looking better at practice than Shedeur Sanders, but they straight lied. Mind you, you just seen how he threw the ball, bro. He put all his effort into that throw, and it was only 20 yards down the field. Now, let me show you Shedeur Sanders, bro. Somebody that's outplaying him by a mile, bro. It's not even close. Meanwhile, while Dillon Gabriel struggling, you feel me? Shedeur Sanders down the field looking like Tom Brady? You said he didn't have an arm? Like, bro, just look at the difference between him in the pocket, how poised he looks, how professional he looks. He looks like Tom Brady, bro.
And Shedeur. He'll just keep doing what he does, dropping dimes, dodging drama, and reminding everyone that sometimes greatness isn't just earned. It's undeniable. And just when you thought Dillon Gabriel had quietly accepted his fate as background noise in the Shedeur Sanders highlight reel, he decides to go full drama mode. Not just a subtle PR campaign or a cryptic Instagram story. No, this man allegedly pulled out the legal playbook because apparently getting shown up in practice wasn't just a personal L. It was an actionable offense. Somewhere in a lawyer's office, someone got a call like, "Yes, I'd like to sue for being publicly out-quarterbacked." He immediately proceeds to confirm every fear that fans were trying not to say out loud. The arm strength is middle. It reads slower than a gas station Wi-Fi connection. And the pocket presence. Let's just say if anxiety was a QB trait, he'd be a Hall of Famer. The worst part is he was trying. You could see it. The effort was there. The results, not so much.
It was in my comments telling me how Dillon Gabriel has this superb accuracy and how he has a higher QB IQ than Shedeur Sanders. Bring y'all asses back. So tell me, have y'all been watching the Cleveland Browns minicamp? And have y'all been seeing how Shedeur is out there running circles around Dillon? Have y'all been seeing it?
Meanwhile, Shedeur is standing on the sidelines like the football version of Thanos, just watching this unfold with that calm, unbothered energy that says, anytime you're done embarrassing yourself, I'll take it from here. And the fans, oh, they're watching loudly. Every dropped pass from Dillon becomes a standing ovation moment for Shedeur by default. Even the haters, those glorious online trolls who've been waiting to downplay Shedeur's rise, are starting to realize they've run out of excuses. Now they're shifting the narrative like a clumsy DJ at a wedding reception. Suddenly it's, well, maybe Dillon just isn't NFL material. As if they didn't spend months hyping him up as some transfer portal messiah. Turns out all it took was a little spotlight to expose the gap because Shedeur didn't just outplay Dillon. He revealed the ceiling. And Dillon's ceiling looks suspiciously like a backup. Clipboard with the Starbucks order on the back next.
We got it, man. Shedeur Sanders has made his way to minicamp, and for some reason I keep hearing that he's quarterback number 4. Y'all better get it together, dog, because just look at this connection, dog, and look how smooth it is, dog. Check that out, man. It's a star quarterback right there in my eyes. And I mean, there's no hate against Dillon Gabriel. I mean, just look at this. They threw it to the same wide receiver, and guess who looks better? Shedeur Sanders. Not gonna lie to you, no glaze, none of that. I'm just keeping it real with you, dog. They can't have these two quarterbacks going in with two veteran quarterbacks there, dog. One gonna have to go, and it ain't gonna be Shedeur.
What's even more hilarious is that Dillon's fall from grace isn't even because of a major scandal or career-ending injury. No, he just got a front row seat to the Shedeur Sanders experience. And now the receipts are flying like confetti at a championship parade. Coaches aren't whispering anymore. They're making eye contact. Reporters aren't speculating. They're compiling highlight reels. Even practice squad players are doing that awkward, "I believe in you, bro," pat on the back that screams, "You're done here." The internet, of course, is eating it up. Someone started a countdown timer titled "Days Until Shedeur is officially named QB1 forever." But let's go back to Shedeur for a second. Because amidst all this chaos, he's not just bawling out. He's doing it with effortless composure. No gloating, no interviews full of subtext, just silent domination. He's that rare type of quarterback who doesn't need the spotlight because the spotlight finds him anyway. Even when he's off the field, the conversation somehow circles back to him. He's not demanding attention. He's earning it snap after snap.
I completely disagree with this comment. For starters, there was much more talent on the Oregon squad to lead them to undefeated. 5 people other than Dillon Gabriel were drafted this year from the Ducks. 2 tackles, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 1 receiver. Colorado had 3 other people go. All 3 Buffaloes drafted were receivers. Whose job is it to give the receivers the opportunity to catch the ball to get the stats? The quarterback. 2 of those 3 receivers wouldn't have been drafted if it weren't for Shedeur, Travis Hunter being the only exception. Shedeur Sanders was sacked 39 times this year. Now, you can blame that to him holding the ball for too long, but the O-line statistically ranked way worse than Oregon's. Realistically, the team that was...
Remember, this guy had to earn those reps. Despite clearly being the superior talent, he wasn't handed the keys. He waited. He watched. He sharpened every tool in the box. And now that he's getting the first team reps, it's over. The offense doesn't just function under Shedeur. It thrives. Plays are cleaner. Timing is crisper. Receivers are suddenly running routes with Olympic enthusiasm. Even the O-line blocks like their rent depends on it. Coaches are smiling wider. Cameras linger longer. And defensive coordinators, they're already updating their resumes. Because here's the kicker. Shedeur isn't just making plays. He's making statements. Every dime he drops is a subtle reminder that all those doubters, all that he's just Deion's son talk, all the haters circling like pigeons with iPhones, it was nonsense. The man is legit, not college-level good, NFL scout watching from the bleachers good. He's got poise, IQ, and that freaky clutch gene that makes you believe he could convert 3rd and 22 barefoot in a hurricane. And now, even the most stubborn critics are starting to flinch. They wanted him to falter. They needed him to stumble, but instead he leveled up. Took every rep, every snap, every read, and turned them into art. It's not just football anymore. It's a demonstration, a public lesson in quarterback supremacy.
Well. You mean to tell me the 144th pick, 5th round QB is outplaying Dillon Gabriel? Ain't nowhere in the world that's happening. It's happening. We're all witnessing and seeing it, live and direct. We're all seeing it. But we're all seeing what we knew. This don't surprise us. Dillon Gabriel, I'm not knocking his game, but he's not even... Have you seen him stand beside Shedeur? Have you? Because I have. And that's very important. Very important. You want your QBs to see over the line of scrimmage. Just letting y'all know that. To my next point. All this fanfare and hate for the Sanders family. And folks don't realize you walk right into the Shedeur effect.
Meanwhile, Dillon's reps are starting to feel like a courtesy. Like someone lost a bet and now they have to pretend this competition is still a thing. Every pass he throws feels like a fragile attempt to delay the inevitable. And every second Shedeur spends on the field, it's a billboard-sized message to the entire league. I'm coming. At this point, you don't need a coach to name him QB1. The team already knows. The fans already know. Heck, Dillon probably knows. That's why the legal angle ever came up to begin with. It's not about fair chances. It's about delaying the cold, hard truth. When Shedeur steps on the field, it's game over for whoever's standing in his way. Even if that someone showed up with lawyers,